What's going on, YouTube? CodedProphecy here, back with another video for you guys. It's been a minute, but I'm back now. And I figured, you know, with the Guilty Gear Strive beta coming and passing basically over the weekend, I figured what better way to come back than to just talk about the beta real quick and talk about my thoughts. This is the second beta they've dropped. Game comes out in like a couple weeks, so I figured why not, you know. I did stream it over the weekend. I streamed it once, and I have a bunch of videos recorded that you'll see throughout the weeks leading up to the game actually coming out, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, Guilty Gear Strive beta, second beta came out. It was pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? I had a lot of fun with the game. I did. But with this beta, I did have a lot of thoughts and a lot of my own little gripes I've had with the game. And I kind of like wanted to figure out how I was gonna word a lot of stuff, because the thing I've seen with a lot of the community for this game, I don't even know like if community is the right word, but a lot of people in this game, like, it's really like you see a lot of people where if you criticize the game too much, a lot of people just call you a hater or say you don't really play Guilty Gear, or like this is a whole different game. Just why don't buy the game? You hating on it, And then there's a whole group of people that's like, oh, you do nothing but talk good about the game, you don't think the game has any problems, whatever, and then you're either labeled a shill or a hater. There's never like a middle ground where it's just like, oh, you just where you like the game but you have some gripes with it. Like, it's never that for them. Like, for them it's either you're a hater or a shill, and it's like I don't understand. But I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna just say my piece. Whatever happens happens. I don't really care at the end of the day. So I'm gonna try and zoom past a lot of stuff that most likely you've probably heard before. Like, I'm gonna start off with the lobby. A lot of people don't like the lobby. I don't like the lobby. If anything, the lobby, I feel like they made some changes to it where they put the cabinets in, which is pretty cool. You know, at this point it's like now in the lobby the game actually tells you, or actually knows where you're trying to be, and it tries to match you up with the person that's on the other side of the cabinet. But the thing is that sometimes there's so many people in the lobbies that sometimes the game still doesn't know who to really match you with, even though they're standing right across from you, and it's kind of weird, and it disconnects a lot. So like a lot of time you just be waiting at the cabinet trying to find a match, which is like, why? Like, I'm trying to spend as little time as possible in this lobby, because I already aesthetically I already think the lobby's ugly as shit. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, the lobby's ugly. I don't like it. I'm trying to spend as little time in there as possible. And with the cabinets, I feel like they still need to tweak some stuff with it to make it more consistent, because the game can't read or can't connect you to certain people even if they're right in front of you, and it's kind of weird. So that's something I feel like they need to iron out, and it probably will. I doubt it's going to be fixed by the time the game releases, but probably throughout a couple weeks or months after the game they'll probably fix it. Quick rematch in the game, phenomenal. Helped a lot. Once you actually got into a game, you could stay into a game for a good bit of time. So I'm actually glad like there's some feedback and added the quick rematch feature. That's dope. That's cool. Love it. Thank you. And I'm starting off with the things I didn't like about the game, because it's like, it's better to get those out the way than just end the video on a good note, you know what I'm saying? But they made some changes, some system changes, and the main one I'm gonna be talking about, well, actually no, I'm talking about both. They made some system changes, but the main two that really impacted a lot for me personally was the fact that if you use the move more than once in a combo, then the opponent will drop out of the combo faster. Now, they made this change because in the last beta there was a bunch of infinites and a bunch of loop combos in, specifically for like Soul, Giovanna, I think Milia had some too, combos like that, which is fine. You know, getting rid of infinites in the game, perfectly cool, perfectly fine. But now a lot of characters lost a lot of combo routing because of it. So a lot of people have to find new routes, which is fine. You know, having to find new routes for the characters and stuff like that, that's totally fine. That's not the issue. But there are some characters that are just like, I feel like they're at a point now to where they kind of just feel like they're doing the exact same thing the entire game over and over again, and it's kind of like, after a while you're just like, okay, they're gonna do this, I don't really have to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of know what they're gonna do. They're kind of straightforward in that sense. Now, again, game is in beta. So like a lot of stuff hasn't been super figured out. I'm not finna sit here and say the game has been figured out and we know the ins and outs. No, I'm not gonna say that at all. I'm just saying for right now, for how the game feels for me, it feels like a lot of characters are kind of doing the same. Like there's only like a few characters I can name to where like whenever you see them, it looks like they're doing a whole bunch of different crazy shit all over the screen. It's like they're doing whatever they want to do. Half of them don't even look like they playing the game. No, I should say half of them look like they're playing the game how it's supposed to be played, and the other half feel like they're trying to catch up. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of those characters, they seem to have a lot of options and a lot of things that they can do out of certain strings. Like they can combo certain buttons or string certain buttons together to give you different pressure options, to give different help them better in neutral, or help them with block strings better and stuff like that, give them better pressure, give them better combos, all types of stuff. So it's like they feel like they're a whole complete different package, playing on a completely different level than a lot of the rest of the cast. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a lot more freedom with most of those characters than with majority of the cast, I feel like, personally. You know, and I might be alone on that. That might be a point that I might be alone on, which is perfectly fine. You know, that's just something for me. Like when I play fighting games, I like to have a lot of freedom and a lot of options with the characters I play, because it's like if I feel like I figured out a lot with a character in the first month of the game, at that point I feel like I have nothing left to like learn for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like I like to have that option of freedom and like creativity there, so that's like anytime I hop on the game, it's always something new I have to figure out with the character. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of games now that have been coming out, I'm not saying Strive specifically, you know what I'm saying, because like I said, it's a beta, but a lot of games that have come out in the past couple years have kind of felt that way to me, to where a lot of stuff you figure out with the character in the first week is the same where you're going to be playing that character for like majority of their lifespan until like a patch or something comes out, and even after that patch, it's basically like it's still what you're going to be doing with that character. You know what I mean? So hopefully, I'm hoping this is just like a thing for the beta, you know what I'm saying, and you know, hopefully like 6 months down the line, by this point people are going to figure out so much more with the characters, and which is probably going to happen. You know, it's just the nature of fighting games at that point. So yeah, so this might just be like a beta gripe. Who knows? It might just be like a beta only gripe. It might not even be applicable in the actual game, right? Now the second change is they made a change to mobility, or air mobility specifically. So basically any extra action you take in the air, whether you double jump, or you backdash, or you air backdash, or you air forward dash, you will take landing recovery whenever you return to the ground. So it makes it so one, jumping isn't as strong, because in the last beta jumping was really strong and people complain about jumping a lot, which is understandable. It was really strong. So adding that extra landing recovery made it so you could punish a lot of characters. You could punish characters real easily. 9 times out of 10, whenever you try to jump in on somebody, they can just grab you out of whatever you're gonna do. If your button didn't combo into the block string that they blocked from your air normal, 9 times out of 10 they could just grab you the moment you hit the ground, or they could punish you the moment you hit the ground, depending on what you do. To me, I feel like this change wasn't necessary, and it makes the game feel a lot more like clunky to me personally. Like it feels like a lot slower and a lot clunkier, especially for a lot of characters. Like for me personally, Geo felt kind of like weird whenever I tried to do like an air option. Now Geo specifically is a character that's more stronger on the ground, right? But like obviously being able to air dash and air backdash and stuff like that is still like good tools to use in neutral. But I feel like for her specifically, doing stuff like that wasn't really the best move. Characters like I know, where like she uses a lot of dashes and stuff. She uses a lot of dashes, and her dash also puts her in an air state. Once you do certain moves, it feels like she feels a little slow, for one, and for two, it also feels like she gets like punished a lot for doing what she's supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird in that regard to me. It feels like off. And again, I feel like it's a change that doesn't even really need to be there, because they buffed 6P so much. Like 6P is like the universal anti-air. They buffed that anti-air so much to like you can really 6P a lot of characters out of pressure now. A lot of characters that try to jump in on you, you can 6P, because the change they made to 6P is they made it so that the entire upper body of your character is invincible now. So if you 6P, any attack that hits your upper body is just like invincible. Is basically invincible. You can't really hit them. Their 6P is gonna go through regardless. So I feel like if they made that change, the change to the air mobility, didn't really need to be there, or the landing recovery didn't need to be there. On top of the back, that the air backdash feels like a little limiting to me. Like it doesn't, you don't really go anywhere. Like you really just backdash like a couple inches and it doesn't really do much, right? Now I feel like I feel like that's something that they either need to tweak more, or like just take the recovery out in general. I know a lot of people are just like, oh, this is something that was in the past Guilty Gear games. I'm like, that's cool, but I feel like for this game specifically, it doesn't really need to be there, especially with how 6P is and how the game is built. I feel like it's like it doesn't need to be there. I don't know. It makes the game for me feel a lot slower and a lot clunkier than it needs to be, and it's like, why are we doing this? Like I don't need the game. The game doesn't need to feel already slow. The game being like as focused as it is on the playstyle it's trying to go for, I feel like making it feel slower is not really the move. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That might just be me. I heard a lot of people say they barely noticed the landing recovery change and the mobility change. So I've heard other people say they really like the change. So who knows? Again, that might just be my own personal gripes with the game. I just don't like it because it makes it feel a lot clunkier than it did before. That's just me. So, but with that out the way, I'm gonna talk about some of the things I did enjoy. One, Ino. Ino, I love Ino in the game. She caters to my playstyle a lot in this game specifically, to where it's like she has a lot of options to mix people, a lot of options to keep people oppressed. The only thing about her is I feel like they need to fix a couple of her hitboxes, because she has some hitbox problems where like some of her moves just won't work. Where specifically where I think it's called her chemical love move, where she like that little vertical move. A lot of characters really just can dash under that move. Like I've had Soul dash under it, I've had Giovanna dash under it. Giovanna can dead just like stand there, not to get hit by it at all. There's a lot of characters can really just dash under the move normally and it just won't hit them at all. You know what I'm saying? And there's sometimes where like even in combos it just wouldn't hit, you know. So I feel like she has some hitbox issues. I feel like the game in general has some hit and hurtbox issues they need to fix, honestly, because there's a lot of wonky things that happened when I was playing the game with a lot of characters, where like sometimes they'd get hit when they shouldn't be getting hit, and sometimes they wouldn't get hit when they should be getting hit. So that was kind of weird. They also had an input issue. I know I was getting into the good stuff, but I'm forgetting. There's like two more things. One, they had an issue where like sometimes inputs wouldn't come out, even if you like you could repeatedly put an input in and the game just wouldn't register it for some reason in certain situations, to where you would just end up standing there and your character would get hit even though you wanted to do something like a DP or like a super or something, and the game just wouldn't register it at all. Then they had another issue with the grabs, where the grabs literally would override any button that your characters were faced with. There have been times where I would have like a whole button inside of another character's character model, and their grab would just overtake that entire button. Like they wouldn't have taken any damage at all. Like my hand wasn't inside of them at all. Like it was mad weird. I don't know. Those are two things they need to tweak, honestly. But other than that, the game is still fun. Like I said, I know feels really dope to me. I didn't play with Anji that much. I didn't really want to. Again, he kind of felt in that same scenario of like he kind of felt samey, like he was doing a lot of the same shit over and over again, right? So I kind of got bored with him when I tried him. So that was that. But the characters that felt like they had more to them actually like made me a lot hyper for the game, because I was like, if they could just put the rest of the cast on these characters' levels, like it'd be really dope, because like a lot of those characters have so much freedom in what they can do, and there's so much potential for what they have left to do, that I could see people spending a lot of time with them. And if the rest of the cast was put up there, then the game will be in a really good spot, IMO, because a lot of characters, you will have a lot more stuff to figure out, a lot more stuff to zone into and try and break down on the character. So you be playing that game, you be playing the game for a lot longer, you be playing a character for a lot longer, figuring a lot more stuff out, right? Now again, this is one of those things where you can just argue that it's just a beta and it might change, and it very well might change during that actual game. That's perfectly fine. But for me, like I said, I just like a lot of freedom when it comes to fighting games, because like that's just one of the hypest parts of playing a fighting game to me. It's just like figuring out the cool stuff I could do with my character, figuring out how far I can take it, figuring out, you know, different ways to play my character in different situations and stuff like that, and just going about having fun with the characters I'm picking. You know what I'm saying? If I feel restricted in any type of way in a fighting game, 9 times out of 10 I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I didn't mess with MK11. It felt boring to me, so I didn't like Fantasy Strike. Fantasy Strike is probably my least favorite fight. I love fighting games. Fantasy Strike is probably my least favorite fighting game, period. Just because of how restricting it feels. Like, it just feels nasty. For Guilty Gear Strive, I have a lot of hope and a lot of faith that going forward in the game's lifespan, a lot of these things might get resolved, hopefully. And I could very well see the game, you know, getting a lot of get a lot more hype in the future, and a lot more characters, you know, getting a lot of good things in the future. So I'm hoping that's how it'll go. But for right now, I don't know. I still have some gripes and some worries for the game, but at this point, I don't think they should delay it, because honestly, I feel like what a lot of people have to complain about, delaying it wouldn't really be an issue. It's just a lot of things that could be fixed within a patch or two if the game actually comes out. So that's hopefully where we'll be at. But that being said, overall, I had a lot of fun with the beta. I think the beta is pretty cool. Let me know what you guys thought about it. If you did get to play it, in the comment section down below. Who'd you play with? Who's your favorite character to play with? Like I said, I know it was Baby Girl throughout the beta. I know I said I was going to be a Giovanna main, but I don't know. Giovanna felt kind of mid to me in this beta, but again, it is what it is. So that being said, that's going to be it from me, though. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, because more Guilty Gear content is on the way. But yeah, with all that being said, it's going to be from me. Hope you guys enjoyed, as always, and I'm out. So, boy.
Niggas pussy, so I'm staying on my grind. All you do is chase beef, bitch. I chase dollar signs, sipping wine, and my bitch a fucking dime. Nigga, your bitch a nickel. Niggas be talking that lyrical shit, but nigga, your shit is simple. I catch a nigga while he meditating, the bullet go in his temple. I fuck up any beat you put in front of me, kill every instrumental. I tell my bitches I need that head sloppy tongue game.